Sara with Posh Pooch Designs, and who I have with me today is Maximo, and he's wearing our pumpkin spice dog collar. This is a pattern that's got a brand new video, and you can find it on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to go ahead and set him down, let him go play. There's your blanket over there, buddy. Now, you'll notice I'm wearing my emoji hat. And so I decided today, I got a hair on my face. I decided today was emoji day. So I got my emoji cut. Check out what it says. I am literally too cool for this. Good morning, Michelle. Clink. Good morning, Petra. I hope everyone's doing fine this week. I know there's a lot going down in Houston, Texas, and all of our hearts are with those people. I have several friends who have lost everything they own down there, and I just feel so sad for them. And, you know, right now there's really nothing that we can do. I know some of us had talked about sending washcloths or other things down there, but it's really just too soon to do something like that. So all we can do is just pray for them and hope for them and kind of wait it out. And then later on, we can see if there's something that we as crocheters can do for them. My heart is just broken over what's going on with them down there. A friend from high school that I reconnected with on Facebook, I just heard they lost their home, their cars, and everything. So let's, hello, Dana. So I thought it would be a good idea to do something a little bit cheerful today, even though my table is just filled with fun stuff going on this week. But I thought that it would be fun to do something just a little bit silly. Now, this hat is going to be a brand new pattern, free pattern on my blog, and I'll do a video maybe next week or something. And it's going to be in 3 sizes, so it'll have a child, a youth, and an adult size. Super easy, basic, chunky hat. Anyway, so there's a lot going on, like I said. Let me get a sip of coffee. Isn't that the cutest thing? Okay, I love all the emojis except the poo-poo one, okay? Just putting that out there. Alrighty, so like I said, my desk is just filled with fun things today. And I know we've been talking about how to read a yarn label. We've been using our Super Saver Ombre as our example. So I'm just going to walk through the pictures that we talked about and just to give you an update. If you've missed part 1 and part 2, I'll link them up there towards the end of the video, and then you can just click on those when this one's over so that you can find part 1 and part 2. Good morning, Trish. Haven't seen you here in a while. It's good to see you. All right, so we talked about the yarn, and this is a yarn that we're using. We talked about ounces and yards. We talked about the picture being the video, being the crochet pattern that's on the inside. Actually, this one is a knit pattern, I believe, that's on the underside of the label. And this is just the basic stuff we did the first week. Here's this one. We talked about the label here where you get your color and your lot number and how important that lot number is for yarns that are dyed. Make sure if you're doing a large project, you get enough to do your project. Because if you go back and get more, the lot number may not be the same. So check that number. That's a very important thing. And then the other thing was this down here. And it tells us we can pull from the center or we can pull from the outside. I remember that first week, I went to pull on it and a little tiny piece came out. Well, I figured out how to find the center pull. Something that happens, there's a couple of things that happen. If you get a skein of yarn and you find it all chopped up like that, one thing that happens is some of the yarn craft stores, yarn stores, put them in these wire racks. Good morning, Dawn. It's good to see you. I didn't see you pop in there. Clink. Anyway, a lot of them are stored in these wire racks like Michael's or Joann's, and those edges of the wire on the top can cut the yarns, and that has happened before to me. Another way that a lot of those yarns get cut is when overzealous stockers are trying to move fast and they're just cutting open boxes, and you might find one that's like sliced here and you got a bunch of broken yarns. That's because they opened the box with a box knife and they're trying to go fast. They're just trying to do their job. If that happens, because it has happened to me, take it back to the store that you got it from and they'll exchange it for you. I've done it a couple times to Michael's and once or twice also to Joann's. Now, Walmart stores theirs in those same kind of baskets, but I haven't had that issue. Hobby Lobby does shelves, but they also have the wire things that go in between. And that's always feel free that if your yarn is cut or broken, take it back to the store and they'll exchange it for you. Just something to remember. Okay, so then let me grab this other picture. Here's the whole label that we talked about, all opened up. We've got that little label up there. It tells us how to pull it. Then we had all these symbols in our yarn fiber. Who makes it? Red Heart. What style is it? It's Super Saver. What brand is Red Heart? What style is Super Saver? The type is ombre, and then your color, of course, will be up here, which is torn in half down here. Then you've got your picture here, which is the pattern they usually put on the inside. And they like to give you those patterns because then you can kind of see how the yarn works up. And isn't that beautiful? That's a beautiful shawl. Down here is where you can find it on, Facebook and all of that stuff. And so there's a lot of information on there. All right, so the next thing we talked about were these symbols. And then we talked about this is our size yarn. And the yarn with these symbols is a bulky number 4. But if you look on this one, I'm sorry. I said that absolutely wrong. This is a bulky number 6. Yes, I know my numbers. It's a bulky number 6. It's a big, thick yarn. But if you look on this one, where'd that go? There we go. This one is Super Saver is a number 4. So it's a thinner yarn. And that's what that symbol is telling you is the weight of the yarn. And then you have your swatch sizes and your hooks. This is your knitting needles right here. And we talked about 10 stitches for 14 rows. You'll get a 4x4 inch swatch or a 10 by 10 centimeter. And your hook, your needle size is your 6 millimeter, 10 US is the number. And on this one, of course, is the crochet hook. You're going to use a 6.5 millimeter or your J10.5. That's a K. I don't know my numbers or my letters, guys. K10.5. It's just because I'm trying to go too fast to get through a lot of this stuff. But anyway, if you make a swatch that's 9 single crochets by 12 rows, you'll get a swatch that's 4x4 inches or 10 by 10 centimeters. And that's what those symbols mean. They look like gibberish or a foreign language. And the truth of the matter is, in my opinion, crochet terms are a foreign language. When you're learning to read a pattern, it's like learning a brand new foreign language. I find it very exciting to learn new things when it comes to crochet, though. Okay, so then here's all our standards that we talked about that go with the yarn weights, 0 through 7. And of course, 7 is new because now we have the big jumbos. And you can find, it has it all listed here. And you can find this chart at just about any of the yarn the yarn companies like Red Heart Lion brand, Yarnspirations. You can find it at the Crochet Guild of America. They all have this chart, and it gives a really good explanation of what each one is. And of course, we talked about that last week. So this week, we're going to talk about these symbols here. And before we can understand these symbols, we need to know what the content of our yarn is. And so if you look, I'm going to put my glasses on because it's really teeny. Okay. If you look, like here is the Red Heart one. And you look over here, it says 100% acrylic. And that's very important to know because you're going to wash and care for items made with yarn or your yarn in different ways depending on what it's made out of. And that's what these symbols are telling you. This first symbol is how to wash it. And you'll see it has temperatures. It doesn't want you to wash it. This is your Fahrenheit. It doesn't want you to wash it any higher than your 86 degrees. And here's your Celsius. So it has both of those on there. Now I want to go ahead and grab this one so we can look at this one also. And this one is different. It says 104 degrees. So we can wash this one at a hotter temperature. And some of them will tell you how to wash it. You know, hand wash it, spot wash it, different ways that need to be washed. Because, for instance, I've told you all this story before about my husband's girlfriend, my son's girlfriend at the time was staying with my husband and I over the weekend, and she bought my son this beautiful wool sweater. He asked me to wash it, and I shrunk it because it was made out of wool. So it's very important to understand that wool will shrink, and it will also felt up. Even if you gently wash felt, sometimes it can felt up. So it's very important to know what the content of the yarn or the item is made out of. And these are the standard garment symbols for all garments, not just yarn. But we use them for yarn because we make things out of yarn. For instance, how in the world will I wash this hat if I get hairspray on it? Well, it's 100% acrylic, so I can just toss it in the wash machine on warm. And you can toss them in the dryer, but I have a thing about only putting stuff on gentle in my wash machine and lay them out to dry. Hello, Judy. Thanks for clinking in. Now remember, if you missed the beginning of the video, you can always rewatch it. Not rewash it, because we're talking about washing. Okay, so this first symbol is telling you how to wash your yarn or the item made from your yarn. The second symbol is telling you how to dry it. Now I want to show you on here again on this one. The symbol is different. Now, this one here is telling you do not dry it in your wash machine. But the other one is telling you, hello Susie, hello Karen, glad you guys snuck in here. Make sure you clink in. Now it's very important to understand how to dry items because this particular one is off of a chunky yarn that has a string of metallic going through it. So if you were to wash it and dry it on hot, wash it on hot, and dry it on high, you would melt that metallic string going through there, and it would be all yucky in your yarn. So this one's telling you not to dry it. This one's telling you that you can dry it on warm, tumble dry, like you would anything else. And that's the neat thing about, there's that symbol right there. The neat thing about worsted weight acrylic yarns, they're really easy to care for, but a lot of times they'll have like a string of metallic going through it, or say a string of reflective yarn going through it, and you're not going to want to put that in the dryer because it will melt, and like I said, and get everything sticky. So the first symbol is how to wash it, the second symbol is how to dry it, and the third symbol is whether you can iron it or not. Now, usually if you can't stick it in the dryer, you're not going to iron it. See, it has the X across there? You're not going to iron it. Most yarn things, it's not a good idea to iron it unless you're trying to what they call kill the acrylic. And a lot of people like to do that to keep it from raveling and stuff. But sometimes if I have a shawl and it's in the back of my closet and it got a little wrinkly up, I'll put my iron on low and I'll spray the area that's kind of crinkled up, and I'll just gently pull it across. But I won't iron it like I would, say, a blouse. Even this one, see the acrylic there? It has the X on the iron. It's telling you, do not iron. And most yarn things you're not going to. Wool even kind of gets all nappy and, yeah, if you iron it. Just be careful if you're going to get a wrinkle out or something. You iron on low. And you be very careful. Hello, I didn't see you all pop in. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Agnes, is that it? Angie? I would love to know how to pronounce your name. That looks like a beautiful name. Hello, Sandra. I'm glad you guys are here and clinking in. I love new and different names. That's when people name their babies fun and different names. I just love that. So anyway, I'm glad you guys are here. All right, so this symbol tells you how to wash it. This symbol tells you how to dry. And this symbol tells you whether or not you can iron. Now the next symbol is talking about bleach. And you'll usually have either a triangle or an X with a triangle through it. Cotton yarns, you never want to bleach a cotton yarn. Acrylic yarns, you probably never want to bleach it. Occasionally, if you're wanting to whiten up a cotton, if you're just using a cotton or a thread and you want to whiten it up, sometimes you will use a bleach. But for the most part, you're not going to want to use a bleach. She says spell A-G-N-I-E. I don't think I can. It's still a beautiful name, though. Okay. Anyway, so this next symbol right here is telling you no bleach. And if you'll notice on this one, it says the same thing. But something else to notice is that's the end of our symbols on this yarn. But on this one, there's one more symbol. And this symbol here has to do with dry cleaning. Most yarns that are just your basic acrylics or cottons don't need to be dry cleaned. I do dry clean some of my shawls just because I want them to kind of crisp up a little. It won't hurt them to dry clean it, but it's not necessary. Now this one, like I was saying, is a chunky yarn that has an acrylic, a metal, metallic type thing going through it. And this is saying professional dry clean only. And that's what it's telling you. Now it's showing here you can wash it on gentle in a lower medium. But if you want it to crisp up, professional is the way to go. Professional dry cleaning. But if it's not necessary, you're not going to find it on here. That's why that particular symbol is not on your acrylic yarn. And that's what all those symbols mean. How to wash, how to dry, how to iron, how to bleach, and how to dry clean. And the key to knowing all of this stuff is the fiber that your yarn is made out of. If you want a list of all these symbols, because some of them have quite a few different variations on them, you can go to the Crochet Guild of America, and like I said, the same thing on these. Let me grab that other one. There it is. The same thing as this, you also find this. Because all the yarn companies will put that in their information on there. You can go to their websites. Red Heart, Lion Brand, Yarn Inspirations, and any of the other ones. Even Michael's and Hobby Lobby and Joann's that have their own yarns, they'll do that too. And you know, as we've been finding out that Walmart's starting to get their own yarns too, so I'm hoping they'll start putting out some patterns and things for us to do. That'd be really, really cool. Okay, so Sandra said her feed is frozen. I was informed that because of a lot of things going on down in Houston, there might be some issues with internet and things in other places because they're down there trying to get cell service working and internet working, and a lot of places just don't have it, and they're needing it for information. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So if your feed freezes, just watch it later, like she said, because there might be some issue with some of that. Okay, now, a couple other things that we want to talk about today. Now, last week we talked about how we reached 10,000 followers on my YouTube channel. And so my granddaughter picked 3 names. And I'm not going to say the names here. I decided what I'm going to do is on the comments, on the video, on my Facebook page at Posh Pooch Designs on Facebook, on the video itself, the live video, in the comments, I'm going to put the names of the winners, and then I'm going to put my email address. And what you'll need to do is, if you're one of those winners, go to Ravelry or Etsy where I have my paid patterns, pick out your patterns, and shoot me an email. And then I'll shoot them to you through Ravelry, and you can save them in your library. I just love Ravelry. If you are not on Ravelry.com, go get on Ravelry.com. It's an amazing, amazing place to find lots of great patterns. Every time someone says, I'm looking for this or I'm looking for that, oh, I always find several of them on Ravelry. So, well, not always, but usually. All right, I got one other thing I want you to do for me. Have you been seeing this picture floating around? Well, this is a picture of my husband and Maximo, and they love to do this thing where they, arr, arr, arr. I better not do it. He might start singing. Well, they sing to each other, and they're kind of like howling. Anyway, so Parker has a contest going on. Right now I'm in second place, and I need more votes. So I'm going to put that link underneath there also. Please vote for us. The winner just gets a basket of locally made cookies, and I would love to feature that on my blog and on my YouTube channel. I think it would be a lot of fun. Okay, so that's another thing. So, what's happening at Posh Pooch Designs this week? Well, like I said at the beginning, we did the little pumpkin spice collar for the dogs. That's a pattern I wrote, I think, about 2 years ago. Yes, you can vote every day, like Petra said. And anyway, I made the pumpkin spice collar a couple years ago for fun, and then I did a video on it this last week. So that's out there. Then this hat, my emoji hat. My granddaughter went and saw the Emoji Movie last week with her mama, so I thought it'd be a lot of fun to do some emoji stuff. Now I do have a pillow. I don't know if you can see it. It was behind me. I move stuff around all the time. It's probably up higher. But anyway, I thought it'd be fun to do this hat. It comes in 3 sizes, like I said. Super easy, chunky double crochet with a single crochet trim. Super easy. And hopefully I'll get that done the first of next week. And then yesterday, I did this ear warmer headband. And this is one I did a couple of, oh my goodness, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. It's quite a long time ago. And I did it with the Red Heart reflective yarn. And I had someone ask me, she said, I bought a bunch of this on clearance from Walmart or Hobby Lobby or somewhere, and I have a whole bunch of it. I'm going to do a table at my local market, and I want to make something that I can make quick and things that will sell. And so I showed her this pattern. I went ahead and did the video because she wanted to see the video. And these are great ear warmers and headbands. And they're almost like the messy bun hat, because it's a nice and thick, and you got room up here for your ponytail or your bun. And the neat thing about it is it's a warm hat, but it has holes so it's not too hot on your head. I said hat, it's actually, you know, a headband or ear warmer. And also, if you don't have to use the reflective yarn. You can use this is a chunky number 5, and you can use this, or you can use any chunky number 5 you want. If you use the reflective, it's perfect for morning walks or morning bike rides, walking your dog in the evening, or you're going for an evening jog. It starts getting dark, you got your reflector in your hat. So I did that this week. And let's see, new yarn. All right, so I went back to Michael's, and I went back several times because Michael's has the 40% off coupon. And so each time I went in there, I used my 40% off for that week. And so I got the Big Karen Cake by Yarnspirations, and I circled the amounts here so I could find it. Pop on the glasses again so I can read it. This is 100% acrylic, 10.5 ounces. And so this is great because if you were doing a bigger project and you needed 2 cakes, you had to kind of line up the colors. And this way, by getting a big cake, you can do a pretty good size project. Because like I said, it's 10.5 ounces. Okay, then I got this Karen cake. This one is called the Tea Cakes. You can see it, the yarn is so pretty. Okay, so this one is a chunky number 6. And it's not 100% acrylic. This is 80% acrylic and 20% wool. So keep that in mind if you're wanting to make something for someone who has wool sensitivities. This is an 8.5 ounce cake. All right, I loved that one. All right, now I showed you these, and I just wanted to remind you again, these are our number 3s. And this is 100% acrylic. And I'm glad that it is, because if you make hats for children, you don't have to worry about wool sensitivities. They all come with a pom-pom, and they're called cupcakes. And then the last one I got was sprinkle cakes. And if you look at it, it's got sprinkles. All right, this one is also not 100% acrylic. It's 77% acrylic. And then it says 20% wool and 3% other fibers. And the other fibers, I'm assuming, are the sprinkles that are in there. And this is an 8.5 ounce, and of course, it's a chunky number 6 as well. So those are new this week. And let me remind you, every week, Michael's has a 40% off coupon. Every week, Hobby Lobby has a 40% coupon. Almost every week, Joann's has a 40 or 50% coupon. And so what I do is I'll go and use my coupon and get one. And then I'll go to the other store and use my coupon and get a different one. And so using those coupons, because this one here is, I think, $9.96. And with 40% off, that's a great savings. So these, I think, were $4.99. But anyway, anytime we can save just a little bit on yarn, it's definitely worth it. And so that's everything I've got today. We've got some new patterns and some new yarn. And that's the last part I'm going to talk about on how to read a yarn label. If you have any more questions, go ahead and put those below this video, either on YouTube or on Facebook, either one, and I will try to answer those questions, whether it has to do with the yarn label or yarn or one of my patterns or something else. Just remember, keep it clean. So anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you next week.